If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, I suggest you tell me so. Hey, you know what? Sega CD rules. Yeah, this Sonic game is the bomb diggity. For sure. Model 1 Sega CD looks so cool. Hey, I wonder how that Sega CD Model 2 is doing. You know, the one I bought at the flea market last year. Let's go try it out. Okay, let's start this thing up. And no. Maybe the Genesis isn't plugged in correctly. Yeah, that must be it. Here we go, and no. What the hell? This thing can't be broken already. I just bought it. Come on. Oh my god, this thing can't be dead already. What the hell? No! Oh yeah, I know how to fix a dead Model 2 Sega CD. Now this video is if you have a Sega CD Model 2 that just won't power up at all. The most common cause of this is that the Model 2 is infamous for blowing fuses. Your Sega CD may have other issues, and there are ways to test to see if it is a blown fuse, but that requires a multimeter, which most people don't have, so I'm going to skip discussing how to test for that. This same fix can be applied to the Model 1 Sega CD, but that layout is a little bit different. One quick note is that the fuse used in the Sega CD is a specialty fuse that actually isn't that great, so we are going to do a small mod to fix the fuse with stuff you can find at your local Radio Shack. Things you'll need: a pair of wire crimpers, a soldering iron, electrical tape, a Phillips head screwdriver, a little wire, needle nose pliers, a pair of quick connects, a wire stripper, solder, a fuse block, and either a 1.5, 2.0, or 2.5 amp fuse. The original Sega CD used a 2.5 amp, but some people say a 2.5 amp actually isn't that great. So some people use a 1.5, or if you want to go in between, a 2.0 amp fuse. First thing we're going to need to do is flip the Sega CD over and remove the 6 screws on the bottom of the unit. Next, we will remove the top of the Sega CD unit. From here, we need to remove the 3 screws holding the metal shielding above the PCB, then remove the shielding itself. We also want to take out the screw that's holding the LED down in the top left corner. Once this is done, we need to remove 2 screws that are next to the heatsink that are actually holding the PCB in the case. And you also need to pull out this ribbon. Next, flip over the PCB and look for the blown fuse. You will find it on the rear of the board, labeled F301. This particular unit has one of the smaller fuses used in the Model 2, where it is actually soldered directly on the PCB. There are other fuses with legs that are actually soldered onto the PCB, in which case you would remove the legs and solder your wires into the holes. To remove the solder mounted fuse, apply a little heat with your soldering iron to one of the sides of the fuse. While doing this, take your needle nose pliers and loosen the fuse off of the PCB. Once loose, do the same to the other side of the fuse to remove the fuse completely. Next, cut 2 pieces of wire about 6 to 8 inches in length and strip each ends of the wire. Then, on one side of each wire, crimp a quick connect to the wire. Now take the bare wire side of each piece of wire and solder it to each side of the previous fuse's solder points. Once done, you can place your PCB back into the Sega CD. There is a little gap in the rear of the metal shielding that will allow you to put your wires towards the empty space of your Sega CD. Now you're going to want to take the fuse block and pop in a fuse. Then connect one of your quick connects to each side of the fuse block. You can then take some electrical tape to hold the fuse down in the unit, but just make it nicer than I did. After that, just put everything back together. You're done. Well, let's see if it worked.